30 years later, Evangelion has cemented itself as a titan in the anime world. It's legendary, it's iconic, and it's beloved, for the most part. But most of all, it's a fucking fever dream. So how do I feel about Evangelion? Do I like it? Do I not like it? Evangelion has always been pretty controversial, mostly because of the outrageous fucking scenes it has, but also because nobody can agree if this show is a masterpiece or straight dog shit. So let me jog your memory and summarize the show real quick. So we have Shinji, a 14-year-old boy who's taken to a place called Nerve by a woman twice his age. And Nerve is ran by Shinji's deadbeat father, who basically defends humanity from these things called angels. The twist is, they're not trying to save the world, he's actually trying to destroy the world, because he's evil. Anyways, Shinji has to pilot one of these Evas, because the other pilot, Rei, is injured. Quick side note, Rei is a fucking bum. She doesn't win any fights in the series, she just gets her ass whooped every single time. So if Shinji refuses to pilot an Eva, the world ends and everybody dies, because nobody else can do it. But despite that fact, everybody is so nonchalant whenever Shinji runs off, as if the entire fate of the world doesn't depend on him, and they keep telling him that he has a choice. No, he does not have a choice, bro. Get his ass back here and make him pilot the Eva like he should. So Shinji agrees, he joins Nerve and he fights angels and shit, and that's what the beginning of the show is mostly about. It's fairly normal. Each episode, some stupid angel attacks Nerve HQ and Shinji pilots an Eva and kills it. And as the show progresses, we're introduced to more characters like Suzuhara, Camera Guy, Asuka, this guy, and this guy. And let me talk about the characters real quick because this has been on my mind for a while. So we've got Shinji, who's messed up in the head because of trauma and shit. Then we have Misato, you know, she's messed up in the head too. That blonde chick's messed up, Asuka's messed up. Every character's going through it. And then we have Shinji's dad. Like, what is this dude doing? His wife dies and he decides he wants to destroy the world. Kind of valid. But in his last moments, he says some shit like, I pushed Shinji away because I didn't want to hurt him. That's why I kept him away. But this dude is full of cap. What is he talking about? You already hurt him, bro. Nobody did more damage to Shinji than his dad, bro. He made Shinji kill his buddy in cold blood while he was screaming his heart out. And then Ikari's like, shut that boy up. I don't have time for this. And then there's Rei, who's like God. Like, what is going on in this show? What is going on with these characters? So anyways, once all the angels are defeated, because there's this prophecy in the Dead Sea Scrolls, I don't know what that is either, but that's what they said in the anime, and a bunch of other shit that makes no sense, Rei and that one dude Shinji was crushing on both merge into a big-ass white woman and turn the world and everybody in it into Fanta. And after all that, Shinji finally learns to love himself. Good for him. Well, I hate to say it, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, but Ava's plot is a bunch of nonsense. But wait! Before you send hate, hear me out. The plot isn't supposed to be good, because that's not the main focus of the show. The main focus is the theme the creators are trying to highlight. While there are some fantastic moments in the actual show, a large majority of the time, however, the plot isn't going anywhere. It just feels stuck. I mean, the original series didn't even have a proper conclusion to the plot. The last 2 episodes are a fucking schizo dream. So that just shows you how insignificant the actual plot is to the purpose of the show. So what the hell's the point of watching a show if the story isn't supposed to make sense? Well, let me tell you, random guy. The entire point of Evangelion is trying to make the viewer experience this feeling that Shinji's going through and learn how to accept themselves or some shit like that. I don't know. The way it's executed is vague, seizure-inducing, confusing, and all over the place. But that's what makes Evangelion so good. I love it because it's visually stunning, it's got amazing direction, it's got some of the most creative scenes I've ever seen. Yes, it makes no goddamn sense, but it's got giant robots fighting fucking angels, and there's bad bitches.
So you want a realistic, down-to-earth show that's completely off the wall and swarming with magic robots.
That's right.
Anyways, as I was saying, Evangelion focuses more on its theme than the actual plot, but the main issue is with how that's executed, because you don't need to throw away your whole story to get your point across. The whole idea behind Evangelion is escapism, self-acceptance, self-love, stuff of that sort. So the idea, I guess, was if we throw away the plot, people can't escape into this world, right? That's kind of dumb. It was a cool idea, but it was just executed horribly, because you, the viewer, are led to believe that the plot actually matters and it's going to have a proper conclusion. You're told about stuff like the Longinus Spear, Dead Sea Scrolls, news and you see Seal saying shit like, the shit in my pants operation is going just as we planned. So you start thinking all this is actually relevant to what's going on. But it turns out it's not. It's just a waste of time. It's just there to sound cool. Even the way the themes are portrayed and the effect it has isn't really that impressive, because shows like Vagabond and Goodnight Punpun both also focus on self-acceptance, but their story is just miles better. The way it's portrayed is just miles better. The key difference is they managed to weave a coherent story with beautifully written characters while keeping in touch with the main theme. Having a show focus more on the themes than the actual story is kind of stupid. It's like eating steak and the sides and seasoning are the themes, the animation, the art, all that stuff, and the actual steak is the story. For Evangelion, the steak is undercooked, it's raw, a whole mess, but the seasoning, the vegetables, the sides, they're all amazing. So the meal is still decent, it just could have been a whole lot better. However, while I can admit Evangelion is a heavily flawed show, that doesn't mean I can't like it. I still think it's amazing. Watching Shinji lose his mind, coupled with insanely trippy visuals, it is an absolute pleasure to watch, and the visuals and scene direction alone make it a classic. 30 years later, and it's still insanely impressive how it looks. It is honestly unlike anything else out there. They can put anything and I won't be surprised. They could have put a frame of me watching the show, and I would have been less surprised than what I was actually seeing on screen. It's awesome. And not to mention the banger soundtrack, just pure eargasms. And now back to the plot, which again I think is meant to be nonsense. People who overanalyze Evangelion miss the whole point of the show. It's just stupid. It's supposed to be nonsense. Stop overanalyzing this shit. And you know, in my honest opinion, I personally think Evangelion has one of the best watching experiences of any anime out there. It's just such a one-of-a-kind experience. I remember I binge watched Evangelion at 3 a.m. just the whole show in one go, and I genuinely felt like I was gonna get a seizure or some shit. That's how wild it is to watch. But that's what makes it so much fun. It might not be the most profound or well written, but it's a blast to watch, and it gives you some food for thought. And isn't that what television's all about? So in conclusion, 10 out of 10 show. Misato is a baddie and can get it any day of the week. Thank you.